Okay, now and remember that when we are using the app, we check the app and we stop our app and we run again. This check is has been saved. Okay, so I think we have used NS user default, standard user default to save this check. Okay, so in here I think we make a new variable và like currency check is equal to 0. We can connect to 0, and when we open this interface, we have to save this current check. We have to check if this currency is already exists in our standard user default or not. We have to save it to our standard user default. Okay, we can connect if and as user default, standard user default, object for key. We can connect currency check is equal to nil. So if this object for this key is not exist, mean it's equal to nil. So we can set it to number 0, mean that we set it to default, we set it to the length is US dollar. Okay, so we will set it the NS user default, standard user default, set object values any object. We can send the currency check, or we can send 0 for key. We use this key here, and after we set it, we have to synchronize to our standard user default, synchronize. Okay, if okay, first of all we check if the object for this key is exist or not. If it exists, so mean that the object for this key is not equal to nil, so we have to set our currency check. Currency check is equal to the standard user default, standard user default, object for key, not nil, so we have to set it to our currency check, and we have to downcast it to in because we already know that we only set this currency checks to our standard user default. Okay, and in here, so you can see in here when we setting up our table view. Now I stop again, I run again. Setting length. When we setting up our string length, we already set all of this image to uncheck, but we have to check if the number of row is equal to our currency check. We have to set it to the image with check in here. For example, when our currency check is 0, so for 0 row is checked and another row is unchecked. Okay, we have to check it in here. If I is equal to currency check, and we can set it to check image or not. If not, we can set it to unchecked. You can see now. You can see here we have to take time to download the data and we have to get this table view. Sometimes I think we can save because the currency code array in here is not changed, so I think we can save it to our NS standard user default to use in next time for better loading this table view. Okay, I think this is for your challenge. And now you can see for first phone we have $$ is checked and another is unchecked. And now when the user checks another $, I want this to uncheck first and this to check. Okay, come back to this here. Now when the user press this, okay, first of all we have to uncheck. We change this image to uncheck. Okay, so we have to make a row. In here we can change this to the currency check. Now this row is now equal to that row that already checked. We have to set that image to uncheck. Okay. After that, we have to setting this row index, this selected row by the user to the check. So now we have row is equal to cell my table. Row pointer index is now row index. Now we set to now we set it to the check. Okay, but before we set it to check, I think we have to set this set the currency check to this row in the index. Okay. And now we set this currency checks to our standard user default. You can copy here. Okay, now we have to set the object is currency checks to our standard user default. Okay, now we check. It's okay. Now we choose setting blend, and now first of all we didn't set any object for this key, so it's equal to nil, and we set 0 to this key and already set to the $. We choose this front, check $. is gone. Okay, and this cron is gone, arrow is gone. Okay, now stop and run again. Setting select. Okay, now we save our arrow. It's not the $. again. I think it's good now. With this file, and you can see now we already done with this interface. In next we will have to reset up this interface with code for loading the data depend on the user choosing the setting length. Okay, see you in next.